So, Hare Krishna, everybody. This is Krishna Rasa. Today we are going to finish chapter 6. So, we are going to cover 6.40 to 6.47 today. Before we begin, let me say the prayers to Guru and God. Om Agyanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Chalake Chakshuru Militamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, everybody. So I'm going to start playing the Shlokas. Please keep your books or notes, whatever you have, pointed to 6.40. Today, Apurva ji also has Gopi Chandan. Excellent. The number of gopis are steadily increasing here.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I'm not able to see everybody very clearly, but whoever I'm seeing, I'm calling out. Okay. Hare Krishna. I will start. 6.40.
Shri Bhagavanuvāca Parthanaiveha namutra vinashastasya vidyate Nahi kalyana krit kaschid durgatim data gacchati Prapya punya kritam lokanushitva shashvati samaha Shuchinam shrimatam gehe yoga bhrashto bhijayate अथवा योगिनामेव कुले भवति धीमताम् एतद्धि दुर्लभतरम् लोके जन्म यदीदृशम् तत्र तं बुद्धिसंयोगम् लभते पौर्वदेहिकम् यतते च ततो भूयः संसिद्धौ कुरुनन्दन पूर्वाभ्यासेन तेनैव ह्रियते ह्यवशोऽपि सः जिज्ञासुरपि योगस्य शब्दब्रह्माति वर्तते प्रयत्नाद्यतमानस्तु योगी संशुद्ध किल्बिषः अनेकजन्म संसिद्धस्ततो याति परां गतिम् तपस्विभ्योऽधिको योगी ज्ञानिभ्योऽपि मतोऽधिकः कर्मिभ्यश्चाधिको योगी तस्माद् योगी भवार्जुन योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समे युक्ततमो मतः ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुन संवादे आत्मसंयमयोगो नाम षष्ठोऽध्यायः.
Hare Krishna. So today I think Sujata ji is going to read.
Yes, Guruji.
Please go
Hare
ahead.
Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare
Verse 6.40. The blessed Lord said, O son of Partha, a spiritual person engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with distractions, either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who strives to do good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. 6.41. Having attended the worlds where the virtuous dwell and having remained there for countless years, the unsuccessful yogi is born into a family of righteous people or in a family of rich aristocracy. 6.42. Else, if they have failed after long practice of yoga, they take birth in a family of spiritually elevated people who are surely great in wisdom. Certainly, such a birth is rare in this world. 6.43 and 6.44. By virtue of the yogic and spiritual practices of their previous lives, They automatically become attracted to the yogic principles even without seeking them. Such spiritual seekers naturally rise above the ritualistic principles of the scriptures. 6.45 With the accumulated merits of many past births, when these yogis engage in sincere endeavors to make further progress, they become purified from material desires and attain perfection in this life itself. 6.46 A yogi is superior to the tapasvi, which is aesthetic, uh, superior to the jnani, a person of learning, and even superior to the karmi, the ritualistic performer. Therefore, O Arjuna, you should strive to be yogi. 6.47 Of all the yogis, those whose minds are always absorbed in me and who engage in devotional service to me with great faith, I consider them to be the highest of all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So in the last session, we concluded the last session with a question from Arjuna. Does anybody remember what that question was? It was a major question. Okay, Lakshmi ji knows, Sulata ji knows, Deepa ji, Rajesh. Okay, Deepa ji, your hand was up for the longest time. What was the question?
No, how to remain focused despite all the distractions. It was in those lines.
That was the question earlier on. Do you remember the question in the last question that we concluded? Lakshmi ji, yes?
Yes. Once already in the spiritual path and away from the spiritual path, what will happen to him?
Exactly. So Arjuna had this question. He said, what happens to the yogis who start on the path? So they are now focusing on the spiritual path. So they are ignoring the material path now. But then they don't actually succeed on the yogic path and they give up before they succeed. Then what happens? So they are neither here nor there. And do they get lost like those clouds, small clouds? That was Arjuna's question. So in a way, Arjuna was indirectly asking, what is going to happen to me if I give up before I succeed? Very smart question. So in response to Arjuna's question, Krishna starts by providing him with an assurance. What does Krishna say? That was the 6.40, the first shloka that Sujata ji read today. Krishna says, O Partha, a spiritual person who is engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction, either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who strives to do good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. Wonderful assurance from Krishna. So Krishna is saying that once you start on the path towards God realization, you will never be overcome by evil. It's a very important statement. You will be tempted by evil. Many times you may fail. You may be distracted by evil. However, you will never be overcome by evil. That is the power of staying on the path. So what does it mean? So let us say somebody feels like just killing somebody. That is temptation. And they are fighting that temptation. That is evil. Evil is tempting them. They kill somebody. Distracted by evil, maybe someone actually goes and kills somebody. They got distracted. They made a blunder. They make a mistake because they were not strong enough to resist. But what does it mean if they are overcome by evil? That means they actually start killing people and they're enjoying it now. They don't even realize that it is evil anymore. That is the definition of being overcome by evil. And Krishna is assuring that anybody who is on this path, they will never be overcome by evil. So if you make spiritual progress, if you make progress as a yogi, although you may get distracted, you may fail sometimes, but you will never be overcome by evil because God will always keep pulling you towards Him. That is the assurance Ekansh, you wanted to say something, or shall we take questions towards the end?
No, Guruji. Oh, I don't know how my hand just got raised.
No problem, no problem.
I was just listening to you. Yeah.
See here, Krishna is responding to Arjuna and he is addressing Arjuna as Tat. Oh, Tat, he's saying. It's a very beautiful word because Tat means dear friend. So here Krishna is demonstrating his affection to Arjuna. He's acknowledging that I'm your friend and you are my friend. See, that is a beauty, where just because he's a Jagat Guru, he doesn't ignore the friendship. Just because he's the Jagat Guru, he doesn't ignore the love he has for gopis. He doesn't ignore the friendship, affection he has for Arjuna. So that is Krishna's greatness. He's a friend also, he's a lover also, he's everything. And at the same time, he's also the divine and he's the Jagat Guru. That's the beauty of our dear Lord Shri Krishna. And then Krishna provides a very detailed and specific answer to Arjuna's question. He's saying that what actually happens, Arjuna, it is not just a switch that goes on or off. So he's saying the unsuccessful yogis, upon death, they go to the planet of the virtuous. After enjoying there for many ages, they are again born on the earth. But this time they will be born to pious people, prosperous people. Why? Because if they are born to prosperous people, then they don't have to really struggle materially. They don't have to worry much about material success and they can focus on spiritual success. Do you know that one of the richest people of olden times in America was a person named Rockefeller? Rockefeller was enormously successful. He was very rich. But he was an extremely materialistic person. But his grandson, he was a very spiritual person. And he would actually go donating a lot of money, doing charity and all of that. But the point is that grandson was born into a Rockefeller family and he was a spiritual soul. So I'm sure he was one of the unsuccessful yogis. But because he was already born into so much prosperity, he didn't have to worry about material aspects. So Krishna is saying that is one of the outcomes of a half successful yogi in this birth. Okay. And he's saying one more important distinction. If you are a yogi, if you are on the path of yoga and you don't succeed, but if you have already developed vairagya or detachment as part of your progress, then in the next birth, you will be born into some very learned, wise, pious family, like you will be born to a sage or a saint or something like that. And Krishna says such a birth is extremely difficult to attain. Just imagine being born to like a Vyasadev or a, people of that stature. I mean, your job is almost, you should consider it done because, you have guidance right at home. And Krishna is saying such a birth is extremely, extremely rare. But the point is not focusing on the rare part and feeling bad, but focusing on what gives such a birth. It's very simple. All he's saying is you have to develop detachment, vairagya. And once we have that, that can be a possible outcome. The another thing you have to keep in mind is doesn't matter which, we studied that we have so many lokas, right? Bhur, Swaha, Satyaloka and all of that, higher planets. What Krishna is saying is no matter which planet you reach, which of these higher planes you reach, you will again have to be born on earth. Why? Because liberation happens from here. That is something we have to keep in mind. Now, okay. So I'm just trying to bring out the concise parts from here. The key point is no matter how much success you have got, you're going to be born into a family that is conducive for practicing yoga. The important thing is in spiritual progress, wherever you leave this life, next life you get to start from that point. Very, very important. And you will see some of your friends, if you look around, you will see some of them are naturally inclined towards spirituality. They're naturally inclined towards yoga and all of that. Whereas some people, Even if you give them a bhashan, they're least interested. You just can't turn them towards this path. Why this difference? This is one of the things Krishna is calling out. Krishna is saying, even if you have made a little bit of progress in the next birth, you start from there. In other words, spirituality will be there in you from the beginning. See, there is one thing we should understand, is this is the key difference between material success and spiritual success. Now, let us say somebody studies till, say, 9th grade, and they study till 9th grade and then they die. In the next birth, can they directly start from 10th grade? The world doesn't work like that. Correct? However, do you remember we discussed about 400,000 levels of human consciousness? So let us say you have evolved, spiritual evolution has happened, and let us say you are now reached level 100, then in the next birth you will definitely be born at level 100 only. You don't have to again start from 0 and go till 100. So that is the importance, that is the key importance and benefit of spiritual progress. What does spiritual progress means? It is basically elevating your level of consciousness. You are elevating yourself. That is why it is called as spiritual evolution. Okay. So isn't that wonderful? That whatever we gain, we retain, and in the next birth, that becomes your foundation. So beautiful. And Krishna is also saying that perfection in yoga is a result of multiple lifetimes. Ashaji, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, Guruji, I had to ask, by that logic, all the people who are born in a rich family, they should be, doing this, these things, they should be already on the path of yoga. But we can't see that, no?
No. That is flawed logic. I mean, it's like saying, a monkey climbed a tree and the monkey looks happy. So everybody who looks happy have to climb a tree. So that kind of logic is flawed. So if you make spiritual progress, you may be born into a rich family, but just because you are born into a rich family doesn't mean that you are spiritually progressed, because there are so many other things. There are so many karmas attached, prarabdha karma, sanchita karma. So where you are born is mostly the result of your karma, but if you are a yogi who is almost succeeded, then you will use that material success for your spiritual elevation. If you are not, then you will still be born in a materially successful place and you will waste it away. I hope that answers your question, but thank you for asking. It's a very, very good question, but I'm just I didn't mean to make fun of the question. I'm just trying to say that logic is kind of, the other way around. Everybody born in a materially successful family are not spiritually elevated, but everybody who is spiritually elevated will get a chance to be born in a materially successful family. And vice versa, there are some spiritual giants who are born in poor families also, because their path is different, their karma is different. Because for them, what is holding them back from liberation is some karmic account that they have to clear. That is what is holding them back. It is not necessarily a lack of practice or lack of conviction. So for such people, they are put into hardships and their growth is accelerated. There are a lot of stories in Maharashtra also. You'll have stories like Namdev and all. If you see, there are stories where you will see really elevated people, but their life is full of difficulties. But then it is just one life of lot of difficulties, and it is like a fast track. They burn everything and then they get liberation in this life itself. Okay, so that is how you should understand this. Okay. Now, there is an interesting topic Krishna is talking about. He's saying, a tapasvi is one who gives up all material desires and they perform severe austerities for liberation. So that is what a tapasvi means. Whereas who is a jnani? A jnani is someone who is striving to be a scholar of the Vedic knowledge or material knowledge. Basically, jnani means knowledge. Somebody who seeks knowledge and who wants to be perfect in knowledge. Whereas a karmi is somebody who is performing Vedic rituals or other activities and their focus is action. Now what Krishna is saying, but a yogi what is the focus of a yogi? Yoga means union with God. So a yogi, basically the focus of yogi is somehow get union with God. That is their only focus. And then Krishna says, a yogi is superior to a tapasvi or a jnani or a karmi. See, the reason is very simple. The simple reason is either a tapasvi or a jnani or a karmi, they are all focused on material success. Sometimes we do jnana because we want to succeed in our field, we want to succeed in our job. That is a jnani. Just like that, it is all based on material success. Sometimes people do tapasya because they want a boon. One person wants a boon to be powerful. Like, you remember Hiranyakashipu. He had a boon that he cannot be killed by a weapon, he cannot be killed in a day, he cannot, so on and so forth. But what was his focus of the tapasya? Was some material gains. Correct? Whereas a yogi, when you say yogi, that means their focus is God realization. That is why it's very beautiful. If you attach the word yoga to any of the words we just spoke, it becomes an exercise that is focused on the Brahman. For example, jnani means he is just focused on knowledge. Whereas once you say jnana yogi, that means now he is a jnani, but he is using that knowledge for God realization. Just like that, if you just say karmi, they are people who are just dealing with cause and effect. And they are perfecting their understanding of cause and effect. That's all. But once you say karma yogi, that means they are now focused on using this principle and practicing nishkama karma in the pursuit of God realization. That is the beauty of this word yoga if we understand it the right way. So whatever you do, what is Krishna's advice? Whatever you do, attach yoga to it. See, that is Krishna's message in a nutshell, correct? He says, live in the world, be in the world, do your duties, but do it as a yogi. So Krishna says, do your duty, but if you just do your duty, you are a karmi. But if you do your duty the right way, like a yogi, with detachment and with the focus on God realization, then you become a nishkama karma yogi. So that is like in a nutshell what Krishna is trying to teach us. So let us do some quick recap. So at the end of chapter 5, Krishna briefly mentioned the details about Ashtanga Yoga. And if you remember, Krishna said there around the end of chapter 5, he said that Ashtanga Yoga, it requires a strict practice, strict regimen. And he also said it is very difficult to succeed. Now in the 6th chapter, let us understand how the 6th chapter was laid out. So in verses 1 to 9, Krishna spoke about the mind. He explained how the mind can be your best friend or worst enemy, depending on how we manage it. And so, in day-to-day life, we are all hearing an angelic voice on one side and a devilish voice on the other side and a confused brain in the middle. That is our daily life, So this is what Krishna taught us. He taught us on how to help get that mind under control. In verses 10 to 36, Krishna explained Dhyana Yoga, and he also provided key insights on how to succeed in Dhyana Yoga. He spoke about various aspects. He spoke about importance of solitude, practicing celibacy, moderation in eating, sleeping, all of that. Correct? And then Arjuna listened to all of that, and what he said? He exclaimed, he said, "Oh Krishna, this yoga that you are explaining is not practical. I don't think I can succeed in this." In fact, Arjuna dramatically said, he said, "I can control the wind with my hand probably, but I don't think I can control the mind." If you remember, that is what happened in those Shlokas. And after that, in verses 37 to 45, Krishna discussed about success, failure, because Arjuna was very worried. He is like, what happens if a yogi fails? This is what we just discussed, correct? So after explaining all of this, in Shloka 46 and 47, Krishna explains the importance of Bhakti Yoga. See, that is the beauty, how Krishna will very categorically, methodically guide us and take us step by step towards where we want to go. It is very beautiful. So in 46 and 47 shloka, Krishna provides his conclusion. He says, Bhakti Yoga is superior to everything else. And Krishna says, those who are always engaged in my devotion, they are the highest kind of yogis. Why? You know why? Because Bhakti is the only power that can bind God. Bhakti is the only power that can actually move God. And that is why Bhakti is considered the most superior form of yoga. Once we finish Bhagavad Gita, if God willing, lot of us can embark upon Bhakti Sutras. It's a very beautiful scripture again. And there it is very, very beautifully said how God becomes, or God willingly comes under the control of his lovers, the bhaktas. That is the only way. Then Srimad Bhagavatam is a very beautiful shloka. It says, Vasudeva para Veda, Vasudeva para Makaha, Vasudeva para Yoga, Vasudeva para Kriyaha, Vasudeva param Jnanam, Vasudeva param Tapaha, Vasudeva paro Dharmo, Vasudeva paragatihi. The ultimate object of knowledge is Shri Krishna. The purpose of performing all kind of tapasya is to please Shri Krishna. The goal of yoga is to realize Krishna. All fruitive activities are ultimately rewarded by Krishna only. So Krishna is the supreme knowledge. And what is our dharma? Our dharma is to render loving service unto Krishna, because Krishna is the supreme goal of life. So I hope this is leading us towards the right path. I hope this is leading us towards now becoming a yogi. In what sense? In the sense of striving for God realization, union with God, that being our goal. So we just discussed all of that, how we have to attach yoga to whatever you do. If you are a karmi, become a karma yogi. If you are a jnani, if you seek knowledge, become a jnana yogi. If you are a tapasvi, then all of that we discussed, correct? So in conclusion, I would like to bring out, there are 5 prerequisites for succeeding in you as a yogi. Okay, you can succeed as a jnani without these prerequisites, but you cannot succeed in jnana yoga without these prerequisites. Just like that, you can succeed being a karmi, but if you want to succeed as a karma yogi, then you need these 5 prerequisites. So let's go through that. Okay, what are those 5 prerequisites? The first one is ahimsa, non-violence. Ahimsa just doesn't mean that you don't beat the other person. It is not just about physical violence. It is about cultivating a bhava of compassion and love towards everybody. That is the true meaning of ahimsa. I mean, in your mind, you hate every other person around you, but externally you are just not physically harming anybody. That is not ahimsa. That is just you are trying to be compliant with society. That's all. No, ahimsa means in your mind, you actually feel compassion towards everybody. Thoughts, words, action, everything should emanate kindness and empathy. Very important thing we all ignore, a lot of us ignore, is this compassion, this love, this kindness we should have for everybody, but most importantly, we should have it for ourselves also. So we shouldn't become too self-critical. We have to be compassionate towards ourselves as well. Very, very important. So in Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, Patanjali says, Ahimsa pratishtayam tatsannido vairatyagaha. In the presence of one firmly established in non-violence, all hostilities cease. So if you see in the Puranas also there are stories where, for example, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even a wild animal like a lion will become very tame in front of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not because it is afraid of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but because it can sense that overpowering love and compassion, that energy. So Patanjali also said that if you truly practice non-violence, if you are truly having compassion and love in your heart all the time, hostilities will cease to exist around you. Even if somebody is naturally a very violent person, in your company, around you, they will cease to be hostile. It's a law. What is the second prerequisite? Second prerequisite is Satyam. Satyam means truth and honesty. See, it's a foundation of yoga. No yoga can succeed if you don't have this fundamental requirement of truth. Okay. Very, very important. It's not just about, I'm not telling a lie. That is not enough. That doesn't mean you are practicing Satyam. What it means is you are actually being authentic to yourself and to others. You are genuine. Extremely important. See, words can have humongous potential. They can heal, they can hurt. Therefore, it's very, very crucial to use the power wisely. And when we align our words with our true inner self, see, that is why this prerequisite is number 2 instead of number 1. Why? Because what does truth mean? Truth means you have to be genuine. Genuine means what? You are what you really are. Like whatever is inside is what should come out in your mouth. But when will that be a good thing? Only when you have first done the prerequisite number 1, which is ahimsa. Practicing compassion and love. Because once you practice that, then internally you are pleasant. And if you are pleasant internally, truth is good for those around you as well. Because then only pleasantness comes out of you all the time. Okay. What is the third one? Third one is brahmacharya. Brahmacharya basically means avoiding sexual impropriety. So this principle is usually misunderstood. People think that brahmacharya just means they should avoid sexual relationship. That is not the complete meaning. In broader sense, brahmacharya means you have to master and discipline your senses and your desires. And you have to direct your energy towards spiritual growth instead of just sensual gratification. That is the key aspect of this. What happens? Because once you practice this, you will get a clarity of mind, sense of purpose. You will have a deeper connection with yourself. All of these things are side effects. They will all come. Okay. The fourth is not very straightforward to understand, but the fourth is called aparigraha, which is non-acceptance of gifts. Now you may say, why? What is wrong in accepting gifts? Okay. The inner deeper meaning is aparigraha teaches us to live a life of simplicity and contentment. The key is contentment. And the key is to understand the difference between a need versus greed. That is the key meaning here. Because you can accept gifts, that's okay. But if you accept gifts which are inappropriate, then what happens? It creates a sense of obligation and dependency. It's not helpful, it is very harmful. Does it ring a bell? Do you remember any great figure we have spoken about during Bhagavad Gita classes? Rajesh ji?
Like Bhishma or Dronacharya.
Excellent. Excellent. Like Dronacharya was such a great soul, but why was he fighting on the side of Duryodhana? Why was he fighting on the side of Adharma? We are talking about Dronacharya, who was a teacher of even Dharmaraj. Why? Because he had received material benefits, material gifts. And he felt obliged towards Duryodhana. You see, now it can probably help understand aparigraha better. Because if you are not careful, what gift you are accepting from whom, you will land up in bondage, you will land up in obligation. And that will distract you from the path. So you have to be very, very careful there. And the key is again greed. Many times we accept things from people not because we need what they are giving. It is just a greed. You know, even if a total stranger comes in front of you and says, hey, I have a iPhone 15, I want to give it for free. You know, there is a strong urge. Shall I take it? You know, because that is a greed. Greed which is kind of becomes overpowering. So we have to be very careful about this. It doesn't mean you don't accept anything from anybody. Use your intellect, use your judgment. Well-meaning people giving you, you know, there is a difference between a gift and a prasad. So people like your parents or people who mean well, when they give you something, you take it as a prasad. But otherwise, avoid just taking material things from other people. That is a message here. And the key is, just by not taking a gift, it doesn't mean you are practicing aparigraha. What does it mean? Is you are able to control greed, and more importantly, you are able to feel contentment. That is the key. So this prerequisite says always practice contentment. Always be in a mindset of gratitude, which means I already have everything. Okay. So the fifth one is asteya, slightly related. Asteya means non-stealing. It is basically not just talking about the physical act of stealing. It is talking about your mindset. Mindset should not always be coveting what is not yours. You know, it is not just money or material things. It is also things like ideas or attributes like names and titles. There are so many things that people have which we may feel, oh, I wish I had it, or I would like to have it, and I would like to make it mine. That is what we have to avoid, and that is the true meaning of asteya. And Patanjali says, tena vyaktena bunjita, which means enjoy what is given and do not covet others' property. Very, very important. Now, these 5 prerequisites, if we can practice, I think that makes us eligible to succeed on the path of yoga. It will not come in 1 day or 2 days. It has to be a consistent practice. So all these principles we just learned, they are from Vedanta and Ashtanga Yoga, and they are guiding us to live a life of respect and honesty and self-control, and they teach us to be better people. I mean, not just for ourselves, but we make the world better by making ourselves better. So that in itself is good karma. So if you can practice these principles, just by practicing these principles, also you are generating a lot of good karma, because when you become a better person, you are positively impacting a few people around you, even without you actively doing anything for them. You know, for example, if you become pleasant, isn't it a good karma? Suddenly people in the house, they like having you in the house, right? So remember that, and also remember that it's not just about asana and it's not just about physical exercise. A lot of it depends upon your mindset. Very, very important, and how we live our lives every day. So with this knowledge, I think we are all prepared to embark upon the beginning of Bhakti Yoga. That's what's going to start from next chapter. It's going to be a very divine journey again. So I'm totally optimistic and enthusiastic and eager to start it. I hope you are all too. With that, I will stop talking for now. Hare Krishna. I'll open the floor. Any questions, comments, feedbacks, let it come. Let it come from...
We are 2 Sundays away from the next year. So as a suggestion, I mean, this path of bhakti, we should start with the New Year's. It's just a suggestion. It just come to the mind. I mean, like, start. What I mean to say is, like, next one we can have a revision, and we can have one more revision, 2 revisions, and then as a suggestion. That's
Suggestion taken. It's a good suggestion.
yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I was telling you the other thing also, like, yes, 6th chapter, and how you give us again a revision of the 6th chapter, a quick recap of the first 2 to 5 also, like, because then we move ahead. We should not forget what we've learned also. That's what I feel like. I mean, I do remember some of it, but like the gist of chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, each of us can take it up as a this thing and do it as the last, last Sunday before the year ends.
Yeah, but she's talking about chapter 2 to chapter 6, right?
Like some important keywords that you think are very important.
Yeah.
So you want me to do it, or you are all going to volunteer to revise?
Whatever you say, we are happy to. Like, you probably channelize us, assign us, and give us questions.
What we can do is, usual, we can ask for volunteers, and I can create focused revision for each of those chapters. Instead of making it a complete revision, we can make it focused, like just kind of key points, as Ekansh was saying. I'm happy to do that. So we can spend the next 2 sessions and revisions. That does not mean you all get a license to bunk the classes, and your presence is required. You don't break the flow, because the mind is turbulent. The mind is very deceitful. Once the flow is, it's like, I don't know how many people have tried being regular to the gym or regular to yoga or anything like that. Yes, Deepali has already raised her hands. Try taking a break from gym for like a week, and then it's like so much more difficult to again get into the groove. Like, I know Rajesh ji also likes playing squash as an exercise. And when he takes a break, usually those breaks become long breaks. Isn't it, Rajesh? So my request is, you are all in a flow. Now, week after week, now it doesn't feel like a big task for you to attend. So keep it up. Keep up the flow. So even if it is revision, try to be there, try to be present. That is the reason I am myself there in every session. So, okay. So I will count volunteers, and maybe everybody who is here is a volunteer. Correct? Rajesh, no or yes?
Unfortunately, we are traveling next 2 weeks. Vinayak ji.
देखो already holiday planning हो गया. हाँ.
But I'll make sure we are going to be consistent. At least I want to make sure I'll do the daily practice. So I am still on my chapter 2 right now, so I'm reading one shlok at a time.
I will take a break, and then I will make a resolution to be consistent from next year, from New Year. Okay.
Sir, I am regular from tomorrow itself.
Yes. Okay. No, I totally understand. Even if you want to take a break for the last session of this year, because somebody may want to travel or have family, I understand all of that. I was kind of joking when I said, it's holiday planning and all, but everybody has holidays, I understand. So maybe next session we can do a revision, and then based on how many people have holiday plans, we can decide what to do the session after. Okay. So for next session, I think I will take volunteers for revision for chapter 6. Deepaji, you are there? Okay. Suchita is there. Ekansh, Asha. Okay. And there are a couple of people who are in that to be or not to be. Should I raise hands or not? Sulataji, are you there, or you are going somewhere?
No, I'm there.
Okay. So Sulata is also a volunteer. Chitra ji is there. Okay. Awesome. Simran, I will volunteer Simran.
Okay, Guruji.
Okay, I think these many volunteers are enough, and on WhatsApp I can solicit more based on who is available. Okay. So thank you, everybody. Hare Krishna. See you all in the next session, and let us revise chapter 6. Hare Krishna. And those who cannot make it, those who are going somewhere, my best wishes for a happy new year. Stay safe.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare
Guruji,
Krishna.
one small request. Please don't give me too many questions, because I will be still working 9 to 9. It's like it's boxing week, right? It's boxing
Yes.
week.
Don't worry. Ekansh, I will give you only 1 or 2 questions. Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready. मेरा पहले मन में आया रिवीजन नहीं लेना, फिर मेरे को आया कि अगर इस बार छोड़ दिया फिर अगली बार भी छोड़ दूंगा, फिर मैं क्या नहीं करूंगा.
कुछ नहीं छोड़ने वाला है एकांश. You are. I don't know. A lot of people don't know. Ekansh is already practicing being consistent. He is practicing yoga every day in the morning now. So he's making excellent progress. He's already almost 40 days non-stop now. He's been consistent. So I'm very proud of him. Keep it up.
It's all you, Guruji. Your blessings.
नहीं, hard work तो तुम्हारा ही है यार. I mean, you are being tested and you are passing it, right? So I'm very proud of that.
Thank you so much, Guruji.
Keep it up. Yes.
Hare
Hare Krishna. See you all.
No, in fact, Guruji, I mean, as what Ekant is saying, this practice, I mean, I do my yoga practice every day, and it did realize, I mean, if I've taken a break and I've started the body's not flexible and not moving. And that point of time, I was in my mind also thinking of the same thing, like, I mean, if the body is having a tough time, mind can also, we are so far away from where we are heading towards, like, this realization I had when I was doing my yoga practice. Like, I'm just training my body, but which means the mind needs so much of constant training. It did come to mind. So when you were saying this, it's very, very important. Otherwise, we get that cumbersome, complacent, lazy, and you again have, it takes double the efforts to start away. So I completely relate to what you said today. It's very, very, very important that, you have to catch on to whatever, however difficult it is.
Yeah,
Personal
very
experience. I mean, I'm on the yoga track. I do my shirshasans, and our teacher still every single day gives us those small tricks to know, improve your posture. She's not happy with the way I am doing it in the way it is. So, I mean, that now I am relating to our Bhagavad Gita, and there's so much of work to be done. I would
You have
definitely.
to understand one thing. I mean, to make it easier for you to internalize this, okay? As we discussed, all of us mortals,
Yeah.
we exist between creation and destruction. Correct? You remember that?
Correct.
Like we have the limitation of Kala. Like we are all there only after we are created, and so we are born, that is our creation. We are dead, that is our destruction. So what does it mean? Once you are born, your destruction has begun. Your countdown has begun. So every day you are one step closer to the end. Okay. So in other words, there is a kind of decay that is built in as part of the design. So you don't get naturally better every day just by doing nothing. By doing nothing, you only get worse every day because that is the design, So you have to consistently practice to make sure that you counter this decay. The decay is built in the system. Decay is part of the design. Even your car, if you don't drive it for 1 year, what happens?
Yeah.
The battery conks out, the tires flatten out, rust sets in. Everything is like that. If you inertia and decay, they go hand in hand, So that is why consistency is not just to help you grow. Consistency is also to avoid decay. And decay is built in. So remind yourself, today if I don't go to gym, I'm only becoming lesser than I was yesterday. Or if I don't do yoga today, I'm becoming lesser than what I was yesterday. That realization should kick in, So then automatically, I think everybody will be more consistent. Okay, so. And another thing, I mean, this is a short set of people, so I'm saying this, is usually people who stay longer are people who want to know more. So that's why I'm respecting your desire and giving you more, One of the worst enemies of any kind of progress is procrastination, because procrastination is arrogance. It is this arrogance that somehow tomorrow is in your hands. People who say that मैं न्यू ईयर में अच्छा कुछ करूँ, न्यू ईयर तेरे हाथ में है क्या? मतलब what kind of arrogance it is that you are sitting and telling the universe that न्यू ईयर तो मेरे पॉकेट में है, कल तुम्हारे हाथ में है क्या? अगला 1 घंटा तुम्हारे हाथ में है क्या? कोई कॉमेट आके गिर गया, कोई एस्ट्रॉइड आके गिर गया मेरे छत के ऊपर, मेरे कंट्रोल में है क्या? So you have to always ask yourself, if I die right now, what does my trajectory look like? Where do you think I'm going to be? You are definitely not going to Vaikunta. We are not there. You are definitely not getting liberation. We are not there. Rebirth is already a proven fact. We all know that rebirth is for sure. So what kind of next birth do you think you are going to get? If you die right now, that is the question you should ask yourself every day. Then automatically everything else will fall in place. Given a choice, आज मैं थोड़ा पार्टी कर लेता हूँ, थोड़ा दारू पी लेता हूँ, थोड़ा मैं मस्ती कर लेता हूँ, ठीक है, nothing wrong in that. But ask yourself, where are you? Are you satisfied with where you are right now? And that should be the constant fuel for, it should not be that Guruji ने बोला, Krishna ने बोला, ये लोग ने क्या बोला, वो सब ठीक है, तुम्हारा दिल क्या बोलता है? अभी तुम्हारा दिल पागल है, दिल तो बच्चा है बोलते ना, तो दिल को पता नहीं है, इसीलिए कुछ भी बोलता है अनर्थ अनर्थ। उसको समझाओ, अपना अक्कल को दिल के साथ कनेक्ट करो और दिल को बोलो, ए दिल मेरे, अगले जन्म में किसी भिखारी के घर में अगर पैदा हुआ तो चलेगा क्या? Your intellect should be connected strongly. So this is the only question you have to ask. In the morning, everybody looks in the mirror, बाथरूम में जाके अपने आप को पूछो, मैं अभी का अभी अगर टपक गया, अगर अगले 5 मिनट में मेरा डेथ हो गया, तो where do I stand? That is enough. That will, your inner guru will give you the answer then what you are supposed to do now. Okay? So I hope that will help all of you. So Hare Krishna again. See you all in the next session. Take care.
I have one question. I mean, you're always on that path. आप कभी break लेते हो क्या? I mean, for you, it's like, no. I mean, the way you keep us going. I would have a reverse question for you. Like, do you have any time for yourself as well?
See,
Because
this question the question I would say is in a way flawed because आप कौन से चीजों से ब्रेक लेते हो? आप उन चीजों से ब्रेक लेते हो जो आपको तकलीफ होती है या आपको हार्ड लगता है या वेस्टफुल लगता है. लाइक मुझे जॉब से ब्रेक चाहिए, आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड. व्हेन वाज द लास्ट टाइम somebody said मुझे वेकेशन से ब्रेक चाहिए? So in other words, what I'm doing, I don't consider it to be a pain. I don't consider it to be a burden. So I don't look at it as, do I need a break? I usually look at it as, do I need to give you guys a break? And sometimes I may take a break if I don't think I have enough time to prepare. So Apto, you have been with me for like, this is, I think, the 4th year, I think. So 4 saal mein, if you see, I have only taken a break only in 2 situations. One is when you all demand a break, or second, if I'm traveling and I know that my travels are such that वो लोग निचोड़ लेते हैं हमको, and I will not have any time to prepare. So I want you to make the most of this 1 hour session में. ऐसा नहीं कि मैं आया कुछ तो बक के चला गया, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. So I need to do a good job. So that is the only 2 instances when I usually take a break. And I'm happy about that. So it is a wonderful relationship we have. I motivate you and you motivate me. So when I see that my satsang family is coming, session attend kar rahe, that is a motivation for me कि I should do a good job. It's a good cyclic relationship. So I'm grateful to all of you for keeping me consistent in my practice. Okay. Take care. Bye. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Everyone.
Hare Krishna,
So this
everyone.
Guru's prolonged session was good. 10 minutes. We got extra to hear and learn.
Thank you so much. I also got a few extra minutes of you all. Thank you.
Okay, Guruji. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Guruji.